Well, as Jeff said, Dan Vandercar from Microsoft. Glad to be here talking about BI. I've been with Microsoft for about 4 years. Before that, I was with GIAC, which got purchased by Infor here in the city. Been with BI and applications like BI for the last 15 years. What I wanted to do in my 12 minutes is explain to you the Microsoft offering. It has changed in the last few months, as Microsoft likes to do, and then explain just pure bullet points. Here's why Microsoft. Okay. So the first thing is the slide that I have here. On the left-hand side, kind of our elevator pitch. Okay. The left-hand side of this screen says it's BI for everyone. Okay. The idea here is use familiar Office-type environments to build your reports, the Excel. I sometimes tease the #1 feature of any BI tool is that it exports to Excel. Okay? So we use Excel as our front end to build reports, design reports, and let the users be very productive in what they want to do. You want to design a report, connect to a database, design away. Okay? As we move up and those reports become important to the industry, we put them into a database so we can back up and restore the information if it gets lost. We can save your report up to a central location in SharePoint, and we can share it with the team. Okay, so it is good for the individual who wants to build the reports, but it's also good for the enterprise that wants to secure the data and share it with the masses. Okay, so here's the pieces, if you will. Here's how we do this. First and foremost is SQL Server. 2005, 2008 are acceptable, but everything in the slides is going to be the latest and greatest. Here is a database to store your data, to secure it so only certain people can see it or write reports against it, to combine multiple sources together if we need to do that, to maybe cleanse that data. It's a full ETL tool. Report Writer, if you're familiar with reporting services, comes with SQL Server, and a world-class storage engine to store that data and scale it out to all your users. Okay, that is the bottom line, the crux of our BI solution. As we move on and present it to the end users, we use SharePoint services. Okay, MOS 2007. Okay, this is the way to collaborate a website. Share your documents in a library with permissions and workflows to see who's last to change the file, who has it out. And instead of going to the directory that's buried in a shared directory on some hard drive somewhere, present it in a team site that this is the latest and greatest, this is the last time it was updated, here's who's last looked at the document. Okay? You're also going to get in here, if you've heard the word Performance Point. In January, we merged Performance Point in with MOS. Okay, so if you have a license for the Enterprise CAL of Performance Point, you now also own all the Performance Point logic that we had built in. Okay, so that is dashboards and drilling down and slicing and dicing and saving notes or comments about the data, all built into the MOS environment. Here comes Office. Okay, using the end user tools that's on everybody's desktop to build reports. Okay, the Office 2007 version gave us a great deal of dashboarding capabilities, stoplighting capabilities. If you're using Office 2007, the formatting controls that are available to generate a nice BI report, and the ability to publish that back to MOS with your Excel services so that you can share it with the masses. Okay, so that you can not just save an Excel to your C drive, but you can publish it up to the MOS team site so everybody can see. Okay. That's Office 2007. I also invite you to go look at Office 2010, Microsoft.com/Office 2010. Office 2010 is going to give us the ability to merge data sources together in Office, unlimited rows and columns. Okay, it's a very exciting offering. It's going to be due out in March, but it really turns Excel into the report writer that we're looking for. Here's business intelligence. I got 12 minutes, so I won't go too far, but when I started doing business intelligence in the early 90s, it is actual versus budget on a report with variance. Okay? And that was really cool. If I could get that, I could share it. As we move forward, I want some analytics. I want some ability to drill in on that net income and get detailed costs, detailed revenues. I may want to see it by customer and so forth. What we're moving towards, and what we're here now, is do you base strategic decisions on that data? Do you hold your employees accountable to how close they are to their variances actual versus budget? And really the idea of this pervasive insight to the numbers. Okay? And that's what this slide does here. The challenges of doing that is a lot of the BI vendors are way over to the left. We're going to give you a BI tool. We're going to let you build a report against your rate resources. We're going to let you to share them. But how often do we base our measures or our compensation off how well you're doing? Okay? How well do we control the risk of our business and our risk to our revenues and our profits based on what those reports are telling us? So it's a difference between, I'm not going to just give you a tool, I'm going to give you a tool that can be part of your everyday life. Okay? And at Microsoft, we have employee scorecards. I can go to a website and I can see how my commitments adhere to my goals, that adhere to my boss's goals, that adhere to the region's goals, that adhere to Steve Ballmer's goals. Okay? And it's the idea of, if I just miss my revenues, okay, I don't get a check. But if I don't miss my revenues, then that has a rippling effect all the way through my organization. And it's a very strong way of looking at data, not just in an actual versus budget. Here's the bullet points. Why Microsoft? Now I have to refresh my memory. Okay? First, the entire stack by one vendor. Okay? There's people in the room that use pieces of our stack today for this. We have partners that use pieces of our stack to design their business productivity tools. But the idea here is that from SQL Server to a SharePoint site to Microsoft Excel as a report writer, everything's in one stack, one throat to choke type of thing, but more importantly, one user interface, one upgrade path. It really lowers the cost of ownership. Okay? It also controls the user interface. So when we go to Excel, to Moss, to SQL Server or reporting services, you're going to see 2007 type ribbon bars across the entire stack. There's not a different login and a different user interface for each of the products. They're all integrated and all it's the same user interface. Price. Okay. Again, if I said, if you own Microsoft SharePoint Services eCal, you own our suite of products that design reports. Okay? You own the Microsoft Performance Point services, you own the Excel services, and you own the reporting services. And if I got time, I'll even show you. Okay? Single sign-on, again, because we've got multiple applications doing different things, and I'm talking about writing the report, to doing a scorecard, to doing an analytics. Everything is your Windows logon. It becomes part of your desktop. Okay? Office integration, I don't think I have to go through that. If I'm going to show you my front end, I'm going to open up Excel first. Okay? That's how end users build reports. Okay? And we promote those reports up through the stack as necessary, but the main office writer is Excel. Okay? And the other productivity tools, if you're using Project, for instance, or you're using our general ledgers or our Great Plains software, everything has a hook into this BI now. Everything's going to go